Hello, everyone. We got distracted because object permanence is not a thing in gaming, but here we are.
Ow.
I thought about it and I decided,
We're all
yes.
just a bunch of ravens.
Raven is smarter than I am in most days. So, before we're a little punchy. Before we get started,
Mira's always a little punchy.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm perfectly fine.
God,
Not for long.
did I just? Oh. Anyways, I'll make them pay for that. So,
You want your payment in 10s or 20s?
Oh boy.
I only have this candy I found in my pocket.
anyways, before I get verbally distracted and slightly minorly assaulted again,
Ooh.
before we begin, as always, we will do a little plug and promote with all the players, as well as some other announcements that I actually have going on right now.
I can start. Hi, I'm Lucas Santana. You can usually find me over at Rule of Lore. These days, mostly on Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Doing Ramblemancy, our roundtable style talk show, where we talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff with guests. Sometimes the next few months are going to be a little bit flexible schedule wise, as one of us is moving, and it's, as I said on our stream last night, usually we function like a machine that has been oiled at some point. I wouldn't call it a well-oiled machine, but a machine that has been oiled. But when one of us is gone, it turns into kind of a death trap. So we just prefer not to. So we're going to be very flexible over the next few months. But typically, you can find us Fridays over on twitch.tv/rule of lore. That's it. That's all I got.
And sometimes they'll have game streams and they know entirely what they're doing with zero consequences.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely didn't. Freeman and I were not playing Fallout 76 last night, and we definitely didn't get swarmed by every feral ghoul in the game. It's completely fine.
I hope that was clipped at Mach speed.
I really wish it had been.
Damn. It really should have been.
Yeah.
But, alright. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Slay. I'm a TTRPG performer. Hoping to join other TTRPGs at some point. We'll see what happens.
And I am Risa or Silver Sugar, either or. You can find me on Tumblr where I post art or random reblogs from stuff. Hope you guys consider commissioning me. Otherwise, I'm up and around on the Rune and Relic Discord and my own server that you can find linked through me on Twitch. That's what I got.
Hi, I'm Little Legend. You can't find me because I'm just too good at hiding. But I'm also on Tumblr. I am Little Legend Arts, and I draw, and I am also nothing else. I just draw. But I really hope to see you there. I also take commissions. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Then that leads, we've gone around and back to me. So, before we get ourselves started here, as always, if you have not or are currently watching and have not hit a follow with us, please do. It does help support us and help promote everyone as well. In addition to that, as noted before, should we hit the 30 follower mark, there will be a giveaway section for one of a kind Rune and Relic Star Trek Adventure, Star Trek Intelligence playing card set, which is right here with its logo.
Oh, that is so cool.
And that will be at 30 followers. That will be a giveaway, and we'll look at getting that to you as effectively as possible when that does occur.
It looks like we're just 6 away. That is not a lot, you guys.
Yep. Which, in
Heck to the
addition to
yeah.
that, if we get to a, I will mention this very specifically, one of a kind, probably won't get made super often, if at all, ever again. Secondly, if we hit that 50 follower mark and hit that wonderful goal of getting to the affiliate status, we will be doing probably like a 3-person giveaway of, if you can see them, Rune and Relic, 1d20.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
And addition to that, there is one final announcement here with Rune and Relic. If you have been watching and are interested into something that maybe we are doing, I have 2 games that are going to be putting out applications sometime tonight, actually, probably during a break time. There are 2 campaigns that are slated for October. I know that's a ways out, but that's kind of the nature of these things, and otherwise, if it's too soon, I'll go insane, and I'll wither, and I'll die. But
Take care of your GMs, people. Make sure you feed and water them.
I'll take food pellets too. But one of our campaigns that is set for player application is called The Dark Saviors, which is a somewhat gothic horror 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. It is slated for a probably a little over 10, somewhere between 10 and 20 episodes. And that will probably take place on a different streaming day, and I'll take over probably one of my stream days as far as a game, and then our other one is another Star Trek Adventures game, which is going to be monthly. It will be the Star Trek To Boldly Go, which will focus on a crew of a Pathfinder class vessel known as the USS DeSoto, exploring a not-so-explored region of space, the Gamma Quadrant. With that being said, I do believe that this concludes our announcements, unless we have anything else to go through.
Oh, I forgot to say my Twitter. It's Sons of Warband, Sons _of Warband.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay, perfect. Then I suppose what we should do is we should jump into this session. So let us... Where is the magic button? I found it.
my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Getting
Alright. Welcome back. So, let us jump into the game. The day now. Here, I'm not going to go through the start date because I shouldn't be expected to go through that all the time because that's going to drive me nuts. It is the evening of March 10th, 2385. You are all aboard the USS Hypatia, moving through at maximum warp. Starbase, I believe it's down here. Yes. Starbase 108 is, well, radio silent. Starbase 108 has been going through a number of refits, and communications are not always going to be consistent, but for it to fall completely dead in communication for the past 70 to 80 hours is unusual. It is operating with the skeleton crew at this time. Starbase 108 is also a unusual starbase because though it is officially designated as a survey station for the surrounding planets and the life around here, unofficially, it is what is considered an intelligence storehouse. With that being the case, and you now know kind of the scope of what is happening, how are you proceeding as you are moving through at the max speed, and I do mean the max speed of warp 8.2?
Actually, I have a kind of a scene to start us off with, if that's cool. A while back, I had specifically asked the commander about taking some of our command crew who are not as experienced with combat to sort of make sure that they're up to specs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say, does the Hypatia have a holodeck?
It does
Yes.
not. It does not have a holodeck, but it does have more of a. It has a rec room and training center.
Okay, that's
it
good
still
enough.
fulfills the same function.
Sure.
It unfortunately doesn't have a holodeck because it is because it's sacrificing 2 decks to make storage for more practical applications.
Fair enough.
It would have something a little smaller though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the training or rec room is enough, I think, in this case. So I think I would like to have I'd like to have Ensign Loris and also Kavai sort of go.
I've been studiously avoiding you.
Unfortunately, this is crew duty. It's mandatory.
Damn.
Avoid you to the point of having to be called out on it.
Fair enough. But I'll just say this is something that I've. Oh, go ahead.
Feel free to leverage the commander to call out Kavai to be like, "Hey, you need to be here at X time."
I probably have already done that. But this has probably been happening because it's been a few weeks since I asked about that.
If that's the case, I guarantee you this has been a pattern. It's a repetitive pattern that you cannot seem to get Kavai to not do.
Fair enough.
It started off as feigned ignorance, then it evolved into I'm working on this other project, which is highly critical, to you may suspect that things are being broken on purpose.
Just rotate me to the next group. We'll get to me, right?
No, you know what? In that case, I'll leave it up to you whether you are present right now or not. But at the very least, with the ensign, I will just sort of, after sort of like a brief round of like quick target practice, I'll just sort of nod and say, now, I've had this suspicion before, Ensign, but I take it you've handled like phasers before?
Not much. I mean, I was taught how to use them just in case, but
Sure.
you know. Oh, you don't believe me?
No, I do. I just you picked it up pretty quickly. Is all.
Yeah. Well, where I used to work, it's either you pick this stuff up quickly, or you lose both hands. So.
Fair enough. Sounds like a rough place to be.
You learn to live there. But I must say, these things are useful, but kind of uncomfortable. I don't know. So, sometimes I feel if I clench my fist a little bit too hard, I can just break it.
I know what you mean. It's but I promise you they're sturdier than that, even if they don't feel like it. But
Sure hope so. I don't want to be fined because I just broke one of the important pieces of whatever.
well, Ensign, I'll tell you what. If you do something bad enough that Starfleet finds you, then honestly, you'll have my eternal respect and admiration.
Hey, sorry, still learning, so you know.
No, you're doing great. I mean, I know this is not exactly what you trained to do, but sometimes, as you've seen, it's necessary to make sure people stay alive so you can do your job.
Yeah, I get that. Thanks anyway for inviting me. People don't usually invite me, in this sort of way anywhere.
Well, we'll have to do something about that then, Ensign. I kind of look around and I say, I think we're probably done for the day here if you want to take off.
I guess so. How's the whole situation going? Did you get any news?
Not yet. We're still en route as far as I can tell. I was about to go check in with the commander, though.
That
You're welcome
is
to come with me
actually
if you like.
the perfect cutaway, because this is all happening. This is all gonna happen simultaneously. Kavai, where are you in terms of avoiding?
On this day?
Under the table.
No, not under the table. Probably in the galley, let's say.
Okay. There's a few crew members in the galley. From what you can ascertain, mostly NCO, much like yourself. There is one individual. Hold on. Yes, there is a Vulcan woman, kind of almost. She reminds you of yourself if you had stuck with a lot more of your Vulcan trait. This is Ensign Tolor. She is.
Can you spell that for me, please?
Yes, I will just put that right there in here really quick.
Yeah, I got it right.
Hold on, I need to find something because notes big and brain small.
Well, in the meantime, I've probably gotten myself into one of those situations where you're not quite meaning to be caught up talking with someone quite as long as you are, but suddenly it's happening, and probably started off with helping them choose something to eat, and now we're just in this conversation, and it is unwelcome, but at the same time, it's not offensive or bad, and just anxious.
Okay. Just in the middle of the conversation, you
Who is this lost, anxious child?
oh man, we're not even that far in my episode.
Buckle up, Joe. It's gonna be a long one.
This feels like a mildly veiled threat. So, no, going through and Hypatia, as far as a mess, it is not the Madrid field office. It is a little, think high school cafeteria if it was really small. That's basically it.
Oh, so like my high school.
Hey.
Yeah, sure. But as you're kind of going through that, you can actually just passively, out of the corner of your eye, you can kind of see the warp tunnel and the starfield passing through. And then something interesting happens. You're watching the starfield and the warp tunnel, and this pulled like lines of the starfield. They almost become less frequent.
Huh. Take a half step towards the window and just kind of, like, mid-conversation, like, Kavai is not socially enough aware to keep the conversation going.
I mean, I imagine you're probably talking Dance into Laura, and she is Vulcan, so as engaging as she is, probably same.
You both simultaneously bail out of the conversation.
That's probably honestly what happens. Vulcans don't really show that much emotion, but internally there's probably like this deep sense of relief.
At the same time, though, I think without looking back towards them, I, like, put my hand up and direct them towards what I'm seeing. The moment I get any sort of sense of that's not normal.
Yeah, she is a science officer, so just she is also very particular. Ironically, she is your astrometrics officer, so
Can you repeat that?
she is your astrometrics officer. And going through, she kind of quirks an eye as that happens. Commander, Shaloran, and Hone, where are you in this moment?
Will we be together or separate?
Well, Commander Jaloran is on the bridge. Keeping an eye on things.
And Loris is coming with him. Just,
We'll see.
sorry.
You're good.
How do words work? I'm sorry.
You're good.
No, just because he offered. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Jaloran's on the bridge. Lieutenant Commander Hone, are you also on the bridge?
I'd say Lieutenant Commander Hone is in their quarters, just like going over different ship schematics, like what they do in their downtime.
Okay. Well, your quarters are on deck 2, so all right. That's yep. Officer quarters are on deck 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if that is the case, you do have access, and same to what Kavai is seeing. The star field that you're seeing, this pulled set of lines, becomes less frequent, and it's not instantaneous, but it is incredibly noticeable. On the bridge, I would say Commander Jolene, you have the most apt view of this, seeing it on the view screen. This kind of pulled Starfield and warp tunnel, what is generally this white-blue color, shifts to being kind of a deep, kind of like shade from light colors goes into dark, from light blue into a shade of dark maroon.
That's not creepy at all.
No, she's going to look over to the sciences station and immediately order for scans. She'll also look over at the other stations. Same deal. It's like she wants as many broad spectrum scans as she can get. Like what's going on. And then over at Helm, she's going to see if are we being pulled out of warp? What's coming up on your station there?
I don't really understand the readings that I'm getting, Commander, but as far as getting pulled out of warp, and this is where I'm gonna have everyone make a roll here.
Ooh.
I'm gonna need everyone to roll a fitness security.
Ooh.
And it'll be a difficulty of 2.
Exactly when I am like, I forgot to pull out my dice. This is the session where I roll. I need to be more prepared for this.
Ooh.
I do think you are hitting your mic there just a little bit.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
I'm a mess. Yeah, I'm just rushing over to.
I rolled 12 and 20.
Oof.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Did you say it was 2 successes?
Yep, 2 successes will get you there.
Great. Well, I have 1.
Okay.
That's it.
At least you didn't grip him.
Oh god.
Okay.
This is like one of my best things too. Like, how did this happen?
So Kavai at 1, right?
No.
No.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Jolene?
2 successes.
2 successes.
Ah, found the die.
You're good.
Sorry, give me a second. All right. So we got okay. Again, we are rolling the
Fitness and security.
okay. So if I'm not mistaken, I got 2, so 1 success and okay, no, I'm re-rolling that. It got stuck in the thing.
You're good. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, and 1. So I guess 2 successes. Yeah.
So,
If you rolled a 1, that's 2 successes right there.
Oh,
yep, it's inverted.
dang it.
Yep.
I've written this down.
You're good. Okay, so in which case, let me just ask really quickly then.
Mm-hmm.
So you passed, Jaloran passed, and I believe Hone passed, right?
Yep.
And the other 2 not so much.
I failed.
I just got 1 success.
Alright, as this happens, as you ask this question, inertial dampeners do a lot. They're helpful. They present you with the great feeling of not splattering against the wall when hitting warp or even impulse.
Oh, great.
However, stopping, it is like the Hypatia has hit something solid, as you feel an impact, and the ship kind of rolls a bit and begins spinning. Inertial dampeners are a little, they're not failing, but they're not doing at 100%, so you can feel some of the G-force.
That split second where you're midair is pretty great, though.
Yeah. As
Yeah,
that
adrenaline
happens,
pumping, all the good shit.
as that happens, and you begin kind of spinning out of control here, as the helm is she is trying so desperately to regain control of this ship, rolling with thrusters and trying to stabilize as best she can. Those of you who have failed, you are not able to stop yourself from being flung into whatever nearby surface occurs. A 20 is a complication. As you get to that state of that complication, and you kind of almost hit the deck forcibly because the impact is very...
It's like that oof of like you lose all the air in your lungs.
Yeah, pretty much. And as that occurs, here is where your complication lies, and I'll get to that in just a second.
Okay.
For Lieutenant Caraballo and Ensign Loris. Ensign Loris and Lieutenant Caraballo, you are able to... One of you is able to catch yourselves being a little bit ready for it, and one not so much. As you have exited the rec room, when you feel the impact, and there is a moment where your feet leave the ground and time slows down. Before that instant moment, that little moment of time where everything is weightless and nothing can harm you, is met by cold, hard bulkheads and a warm feeling of bruising and perhaps a little bit of tearing of skin. Immediately, the Hypatia automatically triggers red alert, and you can see the view screen has in fact endured itself almost a slight spider-webbed crack within it. The ship itself analyzes, and it starts chiming and going off different sections of the ship, noting hull breaches and atmospheric leaks.
Yo, that fucked us up!
Kavai, you're in the mess hall with several other individuals here, and I'm going to roll for it and see how many. You are with 6 other people, including Ensign Talor, as you all are thrown, and various people, some are able to catch themselves and are able to reduce the damage to themselves as much as possible. The vessel, going on automatic, begins setting up force fields and cordioning off different sections of the ship.
Try to pick myself up and assess the damage.
You are able to see, just looking around, the mess hall itself, I mean, not the greatest state. Some of the tables are going to have to be reworked and such. However, the most alarming feature is one of the metallic chairs has kind of broken free and in its careened, crashing state, whatever you have impacted with has embedded itself in the viewport.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh.
And you can hear, ever so slightly, the subtle hiss of oxygen leaking out.
I immediately screech out for anybody like around. Out! Get out! We've got a breach! Get out!
Yeah.
And I try to. Am I injured? Am I able to get up?
You're able to get up. You might be a little dazed, but you are able to get up.
I will. Tapping my badge. Does it? Or do we still have communications?
You're gonna have to tap your badge to find out.
I do so. Confide to the commander.
Nothing.
Just a string of Orion swear words. All right. Are the doors able to open? Are people able to leave?
You will have to. It takes a little combined effort because they're not automatic. They have been shifted into a manual set, so you almost have to pry them open. But with the amount of people you have, you can do it. However, strength, innovation of technology is great in the future. Means doors are stronger. However, there is a damning feature to it. If they are stronger and harder to open in an emergency like this.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna ask everybody else in the room to take care of that one. I got noodle arms.
Yep, they are able to get to it. As they exit and you are able to follow, except being where you are, and the mess is the mess is on deck 2 as well.
Are we able to force field off the room?
Yes, however, before you do that, you are able to look around and you can see sections of the corridors, and the left and right sections of the corridors have already been automatically put with force fields because there are pieces of the Hypatia that are missing, and that would be a severe risk to the ship and its crew.
Oh, just hands over mouth, like open, like staring in shock, trying to piece together who was on what bridge, like who was where. Have we lost people already? Just all of this going through their head immediately.
Okay, well, that's going through your head. Commander Hone, you were able to catch yourself from being rocked about. It doesn't stop you from at least, like, bumping your shoulder against something, but you are able to steady yourself. You are aware, because you can see it within your quarters, but you are aware that there is a automatic red alert going off.
I'm gonna straighten myself out real quickly and exit my course to help assess the damage.
Okay. Exiting your quarters is a little difficult, but with a little ingenuity, you are able to leave.
What do I see?
A lot of fallen bulkheads. There is... It looks like pathways to get through is going to take a little ducking and weaving through corridors, and judging by the damage that whatever the Hypatia hit, it did a number on her.
I'm immediately, first things first, I check my badge. Does communications come on?
You're able to get the signal that the communications badge is working, however, linking to contacting other people doesn't seem to be a thing.
Okay, next, I'm going to start looking for survivors, start looking for people, pulling them out.
Okay.
Going through the rooms.
Okay. With that, you find a couple of NCO. They are one is fully unconscious, human, from what you can ascertain, and the other, the other one is actually denobulan.
Conscious or unconscious?
Conscious, but probably concussed.
Okay. Is there an emergency med kit anywhere near here?
Yes, every deck has one. You were able to get to it, and getting to it does take a little bit of. You kind of have to push like debris aside and such because you don't have a clue really what's happening. Only that you are in a critical situation.
Yeah. So Tate is going into sort of an automatic pilot mode where Kadan's consciousness is kind of taking over a little bit because Tate still doesn't have the. It's been a few weeks, but Tate still doesn't have the full wherewithal to deal with this stuff yet. So they're sort of pulling on Kadan's thing.
Okay.
So it's like they're both there and not.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Just full on like letting almost your past self kind of guide you through this.
Yeah, because Kadan's
piloting.
Yeah, Kadan's been through some shit.
Okay. As that occurs, I would say Ensign Loris, you are the one that is probably helping Lieutenant Karabayo up because, you succeeded. Lieutenant Karabayo didn't really.
I feel like I was like in the process of like picking up a duffel at the exact like bending over to pick up the duffel at the exact moment it hit. So I wasn't able to catch myself. My hands were busy, and also I was like overbalanced, and like I'm just thanks, Ensign.
Oh, all right. Let's see. She's like looking him over, making sure that he's not severely injured.
You know what? We could make a medicine check for that. Hold on. Why don't you make a insight medicine check, and this will be a difficulty of 1.
Okay, let me check what's my medicine here. And it's 4, difficulty 1. So yeah, no, it's a success.
Okay. With that, there is no lasting injury that you can see on Lieutenant Karabayo. However, standing up, I think Alec is the first one to realize it just a little bit, as standing up is a little bit more painful than it probably should be. It is not unreasonable to think that there is a slight, not a huge one, but definitely enough to be affecting a slight fracture of some kind.
Oof. All right. Does this count as an injury?
It would count as an injury, yes.
Okay.
Oh, and will he tell her? Here's the question.
Oh, you're the doctor here.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
you can easily ascertain this. It's not hard to figure out.
I'm sorry, you just said about him, so
Yeah,
okay.
No, you're aware.
All right. Maybe you should sit down for now. All right. We will get it all fixed real quick. Just gonna check on others.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll tap my comm badge. And I'll just sort of like, Lieutenant Karabayo to the bridge. Nothing. Damn it. All right, look, we can't stay here. Whatever happened, we took some kind of a hit, and if there are any kind of hull breaches nearby, then we can't afford to stay put.
Fair enough. Okay, lean on to me. she's kind of hesitating because, well, she obviously should get him to the med bay, but he is one of the higher ups, so he is supposed to be on the bridge. So
Yeah,
it's
I will say this, in terms of the mention of hull breaches, one of the safest places on the ship is going to be the med bay. Because it is on this deck, it is on deck 3, but the med bay is located effectively almost near the center of the ship.
Oh, cool beans. If with that knowledge, she's actually gonna kind of direct both of them towards that general area, and then they decide, depending on the situation around the bridge and the med bay.
Okay. Headed that direction. I think it's a combination of both security and just instinct for you, Ensign Loris and Lieutenant Carabio. As you begin moving forward to head to the med bay, just some of the, even though it's kind of dulled and in that sort of burnt structure right now, you can look in the reflection and you see definitely like your cast silhouetted figures and something else not too far behind.
Wait, what are we looking at?
Just as you're moving through the halls and you can kind of see your own reflections through the halls of some of the metal, you see at least your kind of shaded look of kind of gold uniform and med blue, and then there just seems to be something darker just kind of in the center, but probably just a little bit further back.
I will immediately, like the first time I see it, just sort of whip around to see like see what it is that I can see.
There is nothing there.
Mira just kind of grabbing onto his shoulder so he doesn't accidentally just fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just sort of look and say, did you see that? Did you see something?
Yeah, you're not crazy. It was something, all right. But I thought it was just one of the people. Damn it.
All right, look. I understand Medbay is one of the safer places to go, but I need to make contact with the commander. Communications are out. I need to know what's going on at the bridge. Is there anything you can do for me short term?
All right. Let's see. Is there?
There is the emergency med packs that are just located, spaced out every now and again throughout each deck. The emergency med packs will do in a pinch. This is not a permanent solution. So this will be okay for now. Should Lieutenant Carabio continue to push himself, there could be lasting effects. So for now, it's fine as long as he does not overstrenuate himself.
Okay. So one thing else, how long will the effect last?
It's a simple hypo spray. It's basically a form of synthesized adrenaline that will assist. It will do great for about 2 hours. After that, kind of like anything with adrenaline fueled, you feel great while it's happening. You don't feel so great when it wears off.
Okay, gotcha. So Mira kind of turns to him and absolutely seriously, no joking around. She's, all right, I have a solution. It will only work for 2 hours, but it doesn't mean that everything is healed, right? You just don't feel pain. So I will allow you, I'm sorry, as a medical assistant, okay, to go to the bridge, but the only if you will allow me to carry you there.
Whatever it takes, Ensign. Just get it done.
Okay.
Good. So she's just gonna locate the nearest pack and use the spray on his leg.
Yep. Okay.
Do I need to roll?
Nope. He's not making
So-
it difficult. He's just letting it happen, so there's no roll needed.
Cool beans. So after she uses it, she checks if it actually did work, making sure that nothing really hurts. And then she just kind of gets up and offers her back to him. You know, sort of piggyback ride kind of thing.
I just sort of stretch to sort of test the leg a little bit and go, actually, Ensign, I think I'm all right, but the offer's appreciated.
No. You promised.
I promised
You'll
that I'd
let me
take you
carry
with me
you.
to. No, I promised I'd let you take me with you to the bridge, and that's where I'm
I
going.
literally said that you'll let me carry you. And if
I
you
thought-
keep stepping on this leg, you might actually injure it more. So
I thought you were speaking metaphorically.
nope. We either do this or it's a princess carry. So pick your poison, man.
I'll just
Either way,
just come here. Let me lean on you.
I thought you wanted to do this fast. She kind of chuckled at him.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Ensign, if you make me say this is an order, I'll probably do nothing, but I'll be very unhappy about it.
All right. Come on. Please lean on me and be careful. Even if your leg doesn't hurt, it's still injured. So
I understand.
no rush decisions. She kind of lets him lean on her, and they continue shuffling forward towards towards the bridge.
All right. On the bridge, you've had this ship for a while now, Commander Jaloran, but this is probably the first time you've seen her in a state. And a lot of your bridge crew there doesn't appear to be any fatalities here, but there are a couple of unconscious officers here.
Okay, she is also gonna dive for the nearest emergency med pack, and simultaneously she's snapping off orders to get whoever is still able to get to a console. She wants status updates like yesterday.
Yeah, there is. They go through and honestly, the only person who is even qualified right now is Denapren, and she is your helmsman, but she's practiced in several other areas, just not as efficiently, but goes through. I'm not really sure what we hit, Commander, but I do know that the Hypatia, decks 1 through 6, aside from deck 5, we're suffering minor fractures, tears, and breaches throughout the ship. And it looks like on deck 2, we have deck 2, section 51A, and and 56B are missing. It also appears we have life support at minimal function within the mess hall. Looks like engineering's relatively untouched by some stroke of miracle. I'm getting as many readings as I can, Commander, but until we can get more emergency power going, I don't know what else to tell you.
Do your best. Try to get word out as best as you can for emergency measures. Lock down what needs to be locked down. And when you're able to, grab another med pack and help me with the injured here.
Of course. The process helps, and she eventually kind of gets back to the con and brings it up on screen. What you were expecting to see was space. Just wide open expanse of universe and space. And you do see that, but it's starless, and it is almost like you were seeing before, kind of a shade of, it's just a shade lighter than black, this deep maroon color that just goes everywhere. But on the view screen, you can see Starbase 108 surrounded by vessels that are probably maybe twice as large as a Danube runabout, so probably about the size of a Palace class science cruiser. But they're more almost insectoid like. They have more of a carapace to them. And it's a fleet of them. There's probably, from what you can see just on the view screen, 10 or 12 of them. Easily. There might be more, but with short range and long range scans off, there's not much you can do.
Are we able to get any sort of close-up of those ships?
I can... I could draw power from our primary phaser bar and could boost for a short-range scan. That will leave us with minimal defense, though.
We're not in any great shape to be fighting anything at all, so go ahead and do it.
I don't have enough power to bring it up on my screen. It's gonna have to be on yours, and she transfers it back to where your command seat is, because that's about the only place that's gonna be able to handle that without just blacking out on itself.
What is she looking at?
The vessels themselves, the best way to describe them, minus the claws, think Leviathan, Atlantis Lost Empire.
How did I know you were gonna pull from that?
They are significantly smaller than the Hypatia, by not a huge amount, but they're definitely smaller than the Hypatia. And they don't seem to be paying you any mind currently. But Starbase 108 that you can see out there, where you should be able to see lights and stuff inside, it is totally dark. It is a blackout in there. Which, even with the skeleton crew, so everyone has a idea of how large Starbase 108 is. It's not as large as Starbase 1, nor Starbase 364 Narendra Station. It is about half that size. That is still massive for a starbase. And so it should have a skeleton crew of about 150. And it is out in this area, and there is no lights on it. There's no sign that there is any power or activity exiting it whatsoever.
All right. As long as we don't have their attention, for now, let's focus on getting ourselves up and running as quickly as we can. As soon as we have sensors, I want to know what's going on that station.
Okay. At the mess hall. Kavai, it is not long for you to dawn that the left and right section of the corridors, they are force fielded off. You do not have an option to leave this way. There is a way out, but it is risky because you are pressed for time. There are Jeffries tubes within.
Yeah. I was afraid you were gonna say that. Alright. I'm gonna start directing people that way then.
Okay. You roll something.
I would be last out if... Unless people pull rank.
Ensign Talor is currently the senior officer here. And she will pull rank mainly because, though she is Vulcan, she does seem to care and wants everyone to get out.
Okay. I would let her do so.
Okay. Going through. I gotta check the roll and see how that works on her end. Okay. As you enter this pathway with the remaining crew members here, it's like hearing the breaking of ice. Thin ice, and a hiss turns into a much louder spray of noise. And as you begin entering, yeah, I do think that's gonna have to... Okay. Ensign Talor is more or less going to push you in as that noise happens, and you are going to hear the Jeffries tube door slam shut.
I hang on to that door, and there's just like the silence after.
There is a huge noise, like huge kind of roaring noise of air leaving, and then there is an unsettling lack of noise anywhere.
You would just hear her head thudding against that door. And I will stand back up, turn back around to the ladder, and yell for people to keep going.
Mm-hmm. As you continue going through this Jeffries tube, and eventually, so the ladder, specifically the ladders go up and down. Which direction are you going?
What deck are we on?
You're on deck 2.
We're going to 3.
Okay. You open the door to this Jeffries tube with several other NCO with you, and around this corridor you can see this large kind of melded shape shuffling your direction. However,
humanoid or just
You can, at first, you're not entirely sure, but then you can hear the subtle, if not pained groans of, not even pained, more like just annoyed with the situation to some degree, as rounding this corridor are Ensign Loris and Lieutenant Kirby.
I'll come up to them. We lost Ensign Talor. Deck 2 is useless right now. Go.
I just say, slow down, petty officer. What's happening?
We had a hull breach in Deck 2.
Damn, that's what I was afraid of. Have we seen other breaches as we've been walking, or is it just...
Yes, but they've been incredibly minor. From what you're
Okay.
hearing, it sounds like this was probably the most major one.
Okay. Say, all right, we're trying to reach the bridge. Find out what's been going on. Have you heard from anyone? Are your comms working?
Communications are down for us. I don't know about you on this deck. I'll tap
Same.
it again.
Nothing.
Shake my head. Damn it.
Okay. I'll sort of let go of Ensign Loris and just sort of take a moment to like lean back against the wall, sort of taking weight off the leg for a second. And I say, all right. Looking at the NCOs, are they any particular department, or are they sort of a mix?
So, primarily, what you will actually have within the Hypatia are generally going to be, there's going to be more operations than there will be command, but there is a mix of operations and science here.
Okay. I find myself in the Actually, I think I say this out loud. I find myself in the uncomfortable position of being the ranking officer in the immediate vicinity.
Congratulations, sir.
All right. We need to assess the damages here and make sure that we find any injured along the way. Anybody who needs help, we need to make sure they get it. There's a lot more pressing concerns at the moment, but we can't fix the ship if there's nobody to fix it. So, I'll sort of direct the NCOs who are around. Say, search every room along the way. Don't make sure to stay within eyesight of at least one other crew member.
Understood.
Oh yeah, well, she kind of remembered the shadowy figure that kind of fooled them, but then she realized, oh yeah, that's gonna be even a little bit too concerning, might cause panic, so she didn't say anything else. Sorry.
It does take all of you a fair amount of time, but you do all find your way to the bridge. It is... You kind of have to do a little bit of the annoying... You have to go down a little bit to go up and left to go right type of maneuvers, but you eventually do make it to the bridge, and you will have to... It's using the turbo lift to some degree. The turbo lift isn't moving, but you can still access the top hatch, and you're basically climbing up and opening it that way.
Kavai has to like stop and start so many times. She's that annoying girl at the end of a hike who's just like,
Wait, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Kawai, Mira actually kind of as well after they meet, she is gonna like check up on Kawai, see if she's like injured or not.
There's bruising there, but I think the more... Looking at just kind of... it's not hard to identify sometimes when people are a little bit trying to compartmentalize. This sounds something less that you will have to deal with, and something that more that a counselor might have to deal with after this is over.
Definitely giving off the vibes of holding together, but just barely.
But yes, regardless, all of you eventually make it
Wait,
to the...
so
Continue.
she's fine medically? I'm sorry.
She is fine physically, probably
I'm
not
I'm
so
not sure
much in a great space in terms mentally. Physically, yes. Mentally,
fair enough.
maybe. But yeah, regardless, all of you make your way to the bridge.
Does that include me or
Yes,
not?
that does include you. And with a little bit of combined effort, you were able to get emergency power back on. Not that you weren't running on emergency, but this is like full emergency power now.
Like Commander is still kind of all over the place, doing what she can to spot check. Like as everybody filters into the bridge, just like where they see her, she's just moving around, trying to make sure that people are okay. She's got the med pack with her, doing spot checks of like the best she can to patch them up. But for the most part, she's already given her orders, and she's letting them pull themselves together and follow through.
The
moment they arrive, Mira joins her.
1 second, let me look at something really quick.
Julor just gives a quick nod to Mira and passes her a spare med pack. And then just kind of nods in the direction of the next injured person.
Can I see the ships on the view screen?
Yes, you can. I don't think
Right.
Kaloran would have shut that off. I think she's practical enough to keep an eye on that at all times, even if it's that secondary.
Can I try and identify those ships? With Tate's knowledge of ships?
I will tell you right now, this is not anything that you have ever witnessed or have read about or have heard about.
Okay. That's considering how much Tate knows, that's scary.
I think there's probably a moment where like Alec is looking at Tate with sort of like a doesn't say anything but just sort of like a question, and then kind of seeing Tate's face, just realizes that like we're in fully uncharted territory. Like he was looking at you like hoping that maybe you'd be able to shed some light on this. Just kind of like
Tate just shakes their head, going, "Yeah, I don't know what those ships are, Commander. I've never seen or heard or read anything about it like this."
I was kind of worried you'd say that. But I also have suspected you might say that. Let's work on getting our sensors back online and see if we can do whatever we can to identify what's going on out there.
Yep. As you bring up your sensors and the internal sensors for the ship, for just biosigns, you're reading... You're reading 19 biosigns aboard the Hypatia.
That aren't the crew?
No, that is the crew. You are reading 19 biosigns and looking at all the people here. They're all here. There doesn't appear to be any indication, though, that there has been fatalities.
And how many did we start with?
The Hypatia contains a crew of 56, including yourself. Not including yourselves.
More than half.
Ooh, people are disappearing. Delightful.
What are the state of our sensors?
I have short range still, Commander. They're a little bit. They're much more effective now. Our long range sensors are still fucking haggled because of whatever the hell this is.
Short range we'll have to do for now. Like, get our immediate area. I want to get a full spectrum, including tachyon.
Tachyon? Okay.
I think at this point there's sort of like, now that Alec has a chance to sit for like a second and is hearing the information kind of pour in, is some just like a familiar feeling of like, just there's something happening. Like there's some kind of like, it's like that feeling of like there are puzzle pieces to be fit together, but they're not. The math ain't mathin'. So I think
when you put 2 and 2 together and get 5.
Exactly. And so I think it's a situation where like, as soon as the commander issues her orders to the bridge crew, Alec is going to say, Commander, a word, if you would, and I'll like gesture over to like the command crew basically to gather around.
Yeah, and she grabs a nearby pad. And it only takes her like a half a second to get to his side and pass him a pad. She can kind of see that, like, yes, there's a puzzle here. We need to be working on a puzzle.
Commander,
she's in the same wavelength, and it's like some math ain't mathin'.
Commander, and Ensign Loris and I saw something on the way up, and at first I was thinking it might have just been product of maybe some gases got into the corridors or something, caused us to see something. But now, with crew mysteriously disappearing, I think it's worth considering that we might be playing host to an uninvited guest.
I quite agree with you, Lieutenant.
From her side. Sorry.
That's why I want to know, and for the sensor scans, and like I agree with you. We went through something, which is why with the sensor scans, I want to know if we're even still in our universe.
Alec's eyebrows go up, and you can tell he had not remotely once considered that as a possibility. I'll just nod. Question for you, GM. How, of the people who are here on the bridge, of the remaining crew, how many of them have, like, what I would consider reasonable security training? Like, I'm talking, like, field experience.
Field experience? A couple of them. Would you gather these people here are primarily engineers.
Okay.
But there are a couple, what look like petty officers that look like they probably have at least seen, some basic forms of action. It's just not extreme.
Okay. Then, that being the case, I think I'm gonna, like, just sort of issue to, like, those who like, I've worked with, and like I've over the course of the last few weeks, I've probably made a point to like assess everyone's capabilities.
Yep.
As in that regard, and I'll just go with the ones who like I think might be the most competent.
Yep.
If it should come to a fight, and I'll just say, I want you to arm up just in case. I have a feeling we're going to be limited in resources here, so get whatever you can get. I'm talking phasers, phaser rifles, a slingshot, whatever you can get your hands on. Just be prepared.
Yes, sir. They're definitely still going through at least the last little portion of shock here of what's going on, because this is... Intelligence is a weird field of job, but this is honestly a little outside their depth.
Jaloran gestures down to the pad that she's handed over to the lieutenant. You should be able to bring up the ship schematics and overlay that with our current status and figure out the best places to initiate further lockdowns and then coordinate the men there. Get them
Understood.
familiar with good points, choke points, defensible positions, that sort of thing. And then she waves over the ones that he's picked out as far as mostly competent so that they can look at the pad with him.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, Denapren and a couple of the science officers crew members, not officers, are able to get themselves situated at a science station and just do another short range scan. And
Like she wants them to like get a composition of the immediate area and like compare it to where like scans of we know what our universe is composed of. Like she wants to do a compare and contrast.
this, doing a compare and contrast, there are certain elements that are similar. This is a version of space. There's no way around. This is a version of space, but it's not one you're familiar with. And going through just logs and records, it doesn't match up with anything that you're aware of. However, it is not lost upon you that where you are is for sure outside of your known universe.
So we definitely transverse somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, what is somewhere else? What are the key profiles that are jumping out, making up this area of space?
The only profile that is even somewhat similar is this is probably a separate dimensional universe, much like fluidic space, or the void, or something similar to that. That is the only key points that seem similar. Other than that, it's hard to say.
You said we could see the Starbase, right?
You can see the starbase, yes.
So, is there any way to indicate that it's our Starbase that also got pulled into whatever place we're in now, is it something here?
Actually, a quick look on a computer and just pinging against its like computer registry, you might be able to just get a registry index back.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that.
Yeah. UFP, United Federations of Planets, Starbase, 108, mission profile, survey.
Okay, so it is ours.
Yes. The only difference is it is dark. There's no lights on in it.
Right. Huh. It looks like the Starbase was subject to whatever we've been lucky enough to stumble into as well.
But a starbase can't move. So I'm wondering... My instinct says this was deliberate. Whatever those ships are out there, they set up something and pulled that starbase in. And we were the ones who stumbled into whatever they set up.
Some kind of interdimensional spiders or something trapped in their web.
Indeed.
Some web.
Hope it isn't Tholians.
It's not Tholians, but I don't know what it is. Because I don't think it's Tholians.
No. Tholians are many things, but in recent years they do not have the sheer audacity to attack a starbase, because that would just breach so many treaties and such that are in place. And Tholians are relatively private to begin with, and this would be going out of their way. And it's no secret with your long trill line and lifespan, Tholians do not like going out of their way.
Can I do like a tactical assessment of those ships, like what they're capable of?
Yeah, you could do an assessment. We'll do that as a roll. You can do that as
At the same time, Jaloran is going to direct one of the science officers to turn the scans internal. She wants to see if, like, the key profiles that were pulled out for the surrounding space, what is showing up in the ship.
Okay.
Because she's keeping in mind that, like, Lieutenant Carballo said he saw something. She wants to find out, is that something showing up in little dots somewhere along the ship?
Okay. For the ship profile, Commander Hone, you will have to roll an Insight and Security. And it will be a difficulty of 3.
Would he be able to pull on a focus?
Depends on what focuses they have.
I have tactics. I have
And
piloting.
you're also looking at like a tactical profile of ships in particular, so you should be able to use your ship's focus.
That's piloting, technically.
Yeah, tactics would apply here, I think.
Okay.
Question for you, Slate. How's Hone's security score?
I have a 3 in security.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Insight Security, difficulty 3.
Okay. No dice. I got 2 successes.
Okay, I'll still give you some aspects of it. These vessels do not possess heavy armaments. This kind of insectoid carapace covered ship has what is this ship's version of what you can ascertain to be some form of ablative hull armor. But in terms of weaponry, you're not spotting anything obvious, and the only thing that you can assume is the ships don't have conventional weapons that you can see, or perhaps if they do, the weapons are minimal.
Commander, these ships don't appear to have weapons that I can tell. A blade of arm, some sort of a blade of armor, but that's about it. I can't get a great read on them.
They remind me a lot of little earth insects. And does it seem like I haven't had a chance to really study their patterns of movements. Does it seem like their movements are coordinated, almost swarm-like?
A little bit, yeah. Not like hyper coordinated. Nothing, not like a hive swarm Star Trek Beyond coordinated, but definitely there is some coordination there that is just a little too synchronized that wouldn't be possible otherwise, like without some kind of link. And it is strange to watch a ship kind of move through and do sort of a, like, almost dolphin swim through whatever this weird space is. As you're kind of observing that, one of them breaks off and begins turning to where it's what you assume to be the front of the ship, starts moving towards the Hypatia.
What's the status of our shields?
Shields are... Shields are, if you look at them, like just looking at it, your shields are probably at about 30%. You could boost them, but the way you're going to boost them is you're basically going to, again, be pulling from your phaser arrays, and you're going to just be drawing power from that and boosting your shields. You'll get them up to 100%, and they can probably take a little bit of a beating, but you won't have weapons to return fire.
One way or another, we're sitting ducks.
But I will as this ship approaches, I am going to let you all contemplate that for a little bit, as we are going to hit to our 10-minute break here. Yeah, we've done well so far, but we'll see. And during this break, I'm also going to put the player applications for the other games within our Discord, which will be going live. If you don't have access to it, it is in fact down below, and you should be able to join via the Twitch link. Other than that, we will see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, welcome back. We're holding true and great on the whole 10-minute thing. Please, I beg of you, don't expect that to last, because I know how TTRPG streams are, and this one will eventually be no different.
I believe in us. I don't know what you're talking about.
See, I'm conflicted because you have basically. I'm conflicted because my whole ADHD stubbornness thing. Now you've said two different things, two opposing things, and I don't know which one to rebel against.
I have
I'm not
zero
gonna lie.
trust in us.
All within the plan here.
I'm not gonna lie.
Delightful.
I'm not gonna lie. That may have been intentional.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the streamer paradox. All right.
In the next episode, one of us is meeting our clone. Who? The answer will surprise you.
Okay. Yeah. So, jumping back into the game. Having been pulled from your universe into something else, finding the Starbase, I guess the term dead in the water would be apt here. Along with the Hypatia, seeing vessels that you cannot recognize, and missing a heavy amount of crew members, as well as a vessel peeling off from the surrounding starbase and heading to the direction of the Hypatia. And that is where we left off. So, as this vessel approaches, I want it known that this vessel, if I remember correctly, I'm just gonna look it up so I'm not wrong. because I don't want to be wrong on this. Because if I am wrong, then I don't know what to do, and then I'll be very
If-
very confused.
If you're wrong live on the internet.
Yeah, no, that's not a fear. It is. Yeah, there we go. Is it this thing? Let me look really quick. Is it it's one of these. Nope. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I was right. I second guessed myself. The length of the Hypatia is just a little over 160 meters in length. This vessel, it's only about. It's about, if you had to guess, about half the size of the Hypatia. Only about 80 meters in length. As it approaches. How are you dealing with this? Because most of your remaining crew members are on the bridge here. A couple have gone down to engineering to try and taking their crazy path to engineering to get you some more power within your vessel that you currently do not have.
She has a moment of like a look of contemplation crosses her face, and then she turns to like the nearest couple of officers, and she instructs them to just make all the lights flicker, make it look like we're in trouble, and then suddenly have the ship go dark. We're gonna play dead.
Okay.
Quick
And see
question.
what they do with that. Go ahead.
Also, quick question. Is the med bay close enough for Mira to run to real quick to get some?
Yes. It is not going to be like. It's not going to be effectively what originally would be a 36-second jaunt. It's going to take you about 2 to 3 minutes.
Well, she's gonna do that after she's taken care of like most people who don't need specifically any serious help, who just need the people who just need like basic level helping out. She's gonna help them out, but then run like as quickly as possible towards the med bay and grab as much stuff as she can.
Okay. With that, you are able to get down there and such. As you are probably heading down as this action, the lights are put to flicker, and then you are putting the ship into shutdown sequence. Is that what my understanding here, for the most part?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
She's gonna try to do her best to make the ship look as dead as possible.
Okay. Unlike certain
We're gonna play possum.
Yep, unlike certain TTRPGs, Star Trek Adventures has this wonderful thing where we go with cinematic stuff, in which case we are going to see the view from a first-person perspective outside of the ship. The Hypatia is riddled with tears and damage. The nacelles are still intact, though they do seem to have some marks on them. The lights throughout the Hypatia are scattered, but they are on. Before long, as this vessel approaches, the lights flicker intensely, violently, and rapidly for a few seconds before going dark. The lights, even the nacelle glow goes to that very dull blue and red. Within the bridge, this vessel stops, that you can see. And it just stays there. Realistically, for all of you, this must be a few seconds. 10 or 20 at the most. But right now, every second drags on. You can feel every bead of sweat on yourself. You can count the number of inhales and exhales you take. You can feel each heartbeat. Before the vessel seems to return to its colony of other ships.
For the moment, it seems the ploy has worked. We're gonna stay dark for as long as we can and keep working on repairs under minimal power.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
As long as we don't attract their attention.
We have another ship, Commander.
Bring it up on screen.
Not them, no. We have another ship. If we need to.
The Wave Rider.
Yeah. The Wave Rider doesn't seem to be, or at least the areas I see, it doesn't seem that section of the ship has sustained any damage. So, logically, it should still be intact. With a little bit of, I don't understand how their sensors might work, but if it uses anything similar to our universe, we could operate on minimal power with the Wave Rider with just thrusters. And we would use manual overrides and controls to maneuver the ship with thrusters. If we maneuver it with thrusters using manual overrides, there's no computer systems going through.
Commander Hone.
Sir.
Take a couple people with you and go check out what the exact status of the Wave Rider is. And get it prepped.
Okay. I motion to a couple of, should I take security people or some engineering people?
Honestly, I feel like they'd probably be the people who are the security people are probably, frankly, both.
Alright, I'll take some of those. I'll take not enough, like 2. How many do I need to crew to Ray Wire?
The Wave Rider can effectively be crewed by 4 people.
Okay, I'll take 1.
It has a standard crew of 8, but it can be managed with 4.
Alright, I'll take 3 people with me.
Okay. I'm not gonna make you go through the process of going through the entire ship. The Wave Rider, she's a little scuffed, but other than that, seems to be okay.
Did we ever get communications back up?
Yes, but your communications are limited to about, and they are minimal. By minimal, I mean they are limited to maybe 2 kilometers. So, for example, if you were to take the Wave Rider and go to the station, you're going to be dead on communication again.
Can I talk to the commander from here?
Yes.
What's it, Commander? The Ray Wire's got some scuffing, but she's looking pretty good so far.
All right. Go ahead and get her prepped for lunch.
Yes, sir. I take the people with me and we go prep for the launch.
Okay. A task you have in mind, Commander Jalon.
She wants them to get a bit closer to get, since our long range sensors are still down, she wants them to avoid detection for as long as possible and get as many scans done as possible. This is primarily an information gathering jaunt.
So basically, use the short range scans on the Wave Rider, get close, and effectively do what your long range scanners should be doing.
Right.
Okay.
And then it's like, and she wants as many scans as they can pull off on both the Starbase and those ships.
Okay.
I'll do what the Hamilton said. I'll set everything to manual. Set the thrusters to manual so that they can't detect us using computers.
Okay. So, that means you're going to have to launch the Wave Rider manually using like manual override codes for its docking clamps and such. Something that, much like the Aero shuttle in the Intrepid, not recommended. In fact, they highly advise against it.
I once hid underneath the phaser banks of a Romulan warbird. I can do this.
Okay. Right then.
No fear.
I don't do advisable flying.
Well,
If you have me fly, things have gotten bad.
For the sake of assisting in this instance, I think this one, I've been sitting on it, but I think this one's worth it. If I may, I would like to burn a determination to use one of my talents.
okay.
I am going to use the value because I think it's very apt in this situation. Some rules were made to be broken. And I'm going to use the Spirit of Discovery talent to instantly give us 3 momentum to the pool.
Okay.
Yo.
That is going to be incredibly important because this is a control con roll. This is a control and con, and this is going to be a difficulty of 5. And I am going to burn 2 points of threat.
Oh.
Because the Hypatia is an incredibly precarious situation. Anything
Okay.
goes wrong here, you may attract unwanted attention and may put the remaining groups of the Hypatia in danger.
Okay, I'm gonna spend a momentum for an extra day.
Okay.
Alright, give me a minute.
The silence is so intense.
I got exactly 5.
Exactly. Oh my god. You're able to get to these docking clamps, and there is a moment where one of them does take just a little bit longer to connect and disconnect, but you are able to begin cruising. Using thrusters only, using manual movement. I will point this out for you, Commander Jaloran and Lieutenant Commander Hone. When you use the short-range scanners, they will know, more than likely, because that will be a system that requires a bit more power. So there is a likelihood they might know something's up when you use those short-range scanners. It might not be an immediate response, but they will know something is up.
That's why she's sending Hone. And it's like, if something goes sideways, she knows they can get back quickly.
The other thing
I'm sorry. I forgot about my focus. That's 6 successes, not 5.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes all the difference. No, you're good.
We do get the momentum back, though.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I am very good at this.
The getting through there. The other thing I want you to know, Hone, is that the Wave Rider is also capable of going up to warp 5.5 should it ever need it.
Ooh.
Good to know. Alright, so I fly us closer to try and get some scans.
With the Wave Rider scanners, you will have to be within. Because the Wave Rider is not. It's more of an atmospheric vessel more than anything else. So its short range scanners are good, but they're not. They're not like runabout style. They're a little bit less. However, and this is where your complication is gonna come in terms of just like where you're the complicated situation that you are in. You will have to be within about 3/4 of a kilometer to the station to do that scan. That is realistically, in terms of spaceflight, that is ridiculously close to everything.
I mean, it's like the commander said. They wouldn't be if they won. They wouldn't be sending anyone else but me if they.
Okay.
If they weren't, they wouldn't be sending me if this wasn't crazy.
Yep. Okay. Going through and activating the sensors. Your crew that you have here, breath is being held as this is occurring. And something pings very specifically. One, the station, all of its power, for sure, for the most part, off, except some power sources that you do not recognize. However, there is something that you do recognize. And let me do the math here, just make sure I am right. Yep. You're detecting 187 biosigns that you can identify as various Federation species members. And then you're detecting about 30 to 40 life signs that you do not recognize at all aboard the station.
Can I send this over to the commander?
Yeah.
And the Hypatia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I send all this information to the Hypatia. So it's 187. Is that the amount of people on the that were supposed to be on the station?
The station had a skeleton crew of 150.
So plus the people that are missing from us?
Yep.
Okay. I would say, Commander, looks like everyone, our people, and everyone's on the station. Plus something some life signs I don't recognize.
Are we close enough for comms?
Oh yeah, are we? You said 2 kilometers, so I'm imagining that.
You're just on the edge of it. It is a little patchy, but you are able to get most of it. There might be little pieces of it that have to be repeated again, but...
So is the Hypatia close enough, or are we talking about the Wave Rider?
Both. Like, the Wave Rider can communicate with the Hypatia via just the comm badges that you have, but it is the distance there. It is like right at the edge of each, so it is kind of patchy and spaced out.
Okay.
Um,
So it takes just a few minutes to piece together what
Yeah.
they're saying.
Mhm.
So I wonder how our crew members, our missing members, managed to get onto the Starbase. Have they noticed you yet, Commander Hone?
Not that I can tell, but that could change at any moment, sir.
Currently, they don't seem to be paying you any heed. They just seem to be making a perimeter around the starbase.
Oh, and everyone notices, and it has been happening for a little bit, that Tate's voice is lower than what they normally do.
Okay.
She's gonna have Hone recall back before. She's playing it extra cautious at this point. She's not gonna push it any more than she needs to.
All right, returning to the Hypatia.
With that, as Lieutenant Commander Hone and that small team begins returning to the Hypatia, it is everyone present. It's almost out of the corner of their eye, and actually, Kavai, you're the one who notices it before anyone else. And St. Loris, you notice it for an entirely different reason. But there is a palpable sense of what can only be described within the bridge that you are currently kind of working through, is a palpable sense of malicious curiosity. And in Loris, you were only able to kind of look around, and it's because of your artificial ocular device that you're able to see a somewhat covered form, kind of almost. You can kind of get the sense that no one else can see this. You can kind of looking over, Kavai can definitely sense it. But there is a tall being that is kind of cloaked and probably stands at about 7 feet tall or so. That
Okay.
is just observing. It
No.
has in its two kind of gloved, somewhat clawed hands. Looks like a box that seems to be a device of some kind.
After the
Well,
initial heebie-jeebies of nope, I will stand up, straighten up, and try to center myself as best I can with any sort of measured calm. It doesn't work exactly, but wherever I sense this creature, I try not to show that I'm afraid.
It's not
But
hard
I
to.
catch their curiosity for sure.
as she's doing that, Mira doesn't think much, because, well, who needs that in this type of profession? And she lunges. She basically jumps forward at the figure, full force, whole body,
Okay.
arms spread, ready to fucking catch it. Because this shit is creepy as fuck. And what you do with creepy and scary stuff, you have to lunge at it, and it won't be creepy anymore.
Okay. Make a fitness security check. This is gonna be.
No.
This is actually gonna
I
be.
look at Mira with like panic of just like, whoa, that's what? No, don't.
This is
We're
a
talking
fitness.
pure instinct.
Yep, this is a fitness security, and this would have been a difficulty of 2. However, this thing is not ready for this bullshit. So it's fitness security difficulty 1.
Okay,
Caught him off
security.
guard and flat-footed. Nice.
I would like to use my. Can I use a talent here? Collaboration security.
Sure.
Spend a momentum.
Absolutely.
Remember, you've got an injured leg.
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't need to do anything as far as I'm aware. I literally it just says whenever an ally attempts a task, I can spend a momentum and they can use my security score.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we can-
my security is 5, so you get to use that instead of yours.
Oh hell. Well. Oh yeah. Actually, your security is better than mine.
Yep.
Let's roll for it. So it's 9 for fitness, 7 for security.
Yep. No. You.
That's not how that works.
No.
You're not adding his security to your score. You're replacing it.
Either way, it's a pass.
Oh,
Though.
fuck.
Yeah.
With that,
I
this
need to-
being is not ready for that because why would it be? That is such a ballsy, idiotic thing to do. As and I want this known, the rest of you, Kavaya, you can sense it. Mira, you can see it. The rest of you, nothing. You don't sense, you don't see anything. You just watch launch at an area within the bridge, and
Heard it.
as you collide with it, you hear the impact, the rest of you, before this, whatever its personal cloak kind of fades away. It's almost like, it's almost, yeah, it's almost like pulling down the way the cloak works, it's almost like pulling down a sheet, as it just kind of is there, and it looks like it's struggling a little bit, but it is. Yeah, you can all see it now.
Ooh, the phaser's
All
immediately
right.
out.
Yeah, Jaloran's hip phaser is also immediately out.
Mira is just sitting on top of it, like full weight. Her hands pressing their shoulders to the ground, like squinting at it, like, all right, now you talk.
It
Hmm?
doesn't make any response.
Damn, I thought I sounded cool there.
It definitely
Anyway.
has its face covered and its hood pulled up, but it doesn't make any sound, but it does seem to be, at just the way it's ever so slightly moves its head, it is looking around.
Do you understand?
Oh, sorry.
It doesn't respond.
I'm gonna sneak a step forward, and can I get a look at its face?
It appears to be covered.
Covered how?
With some type of fabric looking material that you're not entirely sure what it is made of.
Like the entire face,
Yeah,
or
the
like
entire
where
face.
would? Okay, it's like not even any like eye sockets or anything of that sort.
Doesn't seem to be, no.
Curious.
This is where I ask an interesting question. Of this entire group, how much did you pay attention in Starfleet Academy?
To which part?
I didn't attend.
Mira attended like a crash course on medic. So I don't know. It depends on what exactly are we trying to distinguish here. The race?
Tate was a very good student.
Okay.
Tate also isn't here, I don't think.
I don't think I'm there.
Not yet.
He did say the whole group. He did
Damn
say
it,
the whole
but what-
group.
The
did
one
say the whole
most
group.
useful character.
That's true.
Yeah, it will come up, so that's why I'm asking, though. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
what about...
Jaloran was also a good student.
Okay. Then I
Alec
can-
was an average student.
Then this one's kind of lost in the logs.
Fair.
However, notably,
the sauce.
there is a... Let me bring this up and make sure I am looking at this correctly. Yes. It takes a little while for it eventually... Tate, you are able to join as well, because this thing's not going anywhere. There's a Loris on...
On top of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though the shape has changed from the initial star log, the USS Enterprise on stardate 46154.2 encountered instances where crew members had trouble sleeping, and sometimes they would go to sleep and they would wake up exhausted.
Oh, so it's a sleep paralysis demon. That's great.
I love that essentially Mira just
To the
launched
players,
Watch in here.
to the players, and to the audience, if everyone can remember, because it is a little bit of a forgotten episode, but if everyone remembers the TNG Season 6, Episode 5, episode titled Schism, that is...
Picard asked Worf to entrap a couple of beings via looks alone.
Mm-hmm.
They were cloaked and they were performing experiments on the crew while they slept.
Yep.
Oh, I vaguely recall this.
Same.
But it was a way that Picard was able to demonstrate that not all beings needed vocal commands in order to cooperate and enact a plan.
Mm-hmm. This is this definitely seems similar. You're not entirely sure if this is the same group or the same type of species, but this is, if it is, at the very least, this is a subspecies that you can determine.
Lauren is going to she's basically going to pull the same thing Picard did. She's going to give Hone a significant look and a slight nod at the creature. It's like she wants Hone to move over to a console and enact a single person containment field.
Okay.
Hone does exactly that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you'll leave
Oh.
before then. But you're not being trapped with this thing, but...
Thank you very much.
So Jaloran is trusting that Loris will note the direction Hone is going and infer from there what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty standard, realistically, as this creature doesn't really seem to say anything still, and is just observing still.
Can I?
Mira.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You're just kind of getting away from the creature, just sitting there, not sitting, just standing, like staring at it, because as far as she knows, like she's the only person who can see. So,
Well, you all can see it now, but
oh,
Yeah, she
right,
pulled that
goddamn.
cloak off,
All right.
which is why Lieutenant and Commander are both very, not happy with phasers pointed at the thing. You were gonna say, Kavai?
I'm going to pull out a pad and resort to like pictographs as like a form of communication, like drawing or something, just to see if I can get any sort of reaction from it. Like I'll hold up something and vocalize a question like, do you understand us? Like, can you work with us here? I'm sorry my friend did that to you, but we're in a bad position. Like just trying to get any sort of dialogue I can.
okay. The process is a little slow going, but you are able to get some dialogue going. And instead of drawing it out, you can just ask the questions and such, and we'll just kind of all respond and vocalize what the body language is, because that'll be too much.
No, I got you.
I got you.
I'd start with like, we're not trying to enact harm to your people. What are you here for? What's the purpose of your visit? Are you related to the damage that is on our ship? And I'm trying to get across that I'm not accusing them personally of anything. I just want to. I'm trying to put our best foot forward.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. One of the things you get is more or less the response of, given the body language is really hard to read because it's so slight, but you're starting to understand just based upon how you've asked questions and kind of set up your little emergency quick haberdashed Rosetta Stone. You are visitors is more or less what you get out of that one.
Okay, I would apologize for our accidentally intruding on their space. Is there a way we can work all of this out peacefully?
Same response. You are visitors.
I think I would almost sit next to their space, like very casually. Like Kavai has completely like in encountering a new species, no one else exists. Like command structure gone from their head. Any of that.
Okay.
So Lauren is going to give Kavai a little bit of space. She's going to go back to assessing the status of the ship, and she wants to know how quickly they can get sensors up. She's also very curious about the life science and how a significant portion of her crew was somehow transported over to the Starbase. But at the back of her mind, she's also mulling over like the statement: "You are visitors."
Okay.
Okay, a direct question to them then. How do you expect visitors to act?
All visitors have acted the same.
Is it negatively toward you?
You get the language here a little bit, and you're starting to understand kind of how their body language works a little bit. This next one, though it has been the same answer every time, this one feels different. This one feels
More pointed.
direct.
Mm.
You are visitors.
Do I get the sense that if I mirror them, that's appreciated, or is subservient the better way to go here?
Hard to say. Even though you're getting answers and responses through body language, the answers have generally been the same.
Hmm.
There's a moment when Jaloran passes over a pad to Kavai. It's got a couple of questions that Jaloran wants Kavai to attempt. The first one being trying to figure out a good way to phrase it. Did they bring us? Did they force us to come here? Or like force the Starbase to come here? And the second being, can they help us get home?
I think I sort of twist that last one into, do you want us to leave?
Right. It's like that's the Jaloran understands that, and it's like she appreciates that approach.
Direct again. And this one, the body language is a bit more intense and almost specifically for this one, whatever its body is made of, it does this very intensely and specifically when you ask, do you want us to leave, as it almost stands upright so it is somewhat towering over you.
And I've been seated, so I'm just like, yep, okay.
Directed again, much more direct, and kind of looks towards, like, what you can assume it's looking towards the bridge and all of its crew that is stationed around it. You are visitors.
Commander, I get the distinct feeling we're not exactly welcome here.
Well, he's not welcomed here either, and
we are in their space.
He's kind of looking at them, and Mira's doing a very specific gesture at him, trying to look casual, just hiding it from the commander, but so that the creature would see it.
The commander, it's like Jaloran just acknowledges what they're saying, and it's like, I'm just like, at this point, it's pretty obvious we're not welcome here. But right now, we don't have a way home.
If I'm gonna give you a little bit of something here, because the more, like, you're watching this thing pay less attention to you, and you're having a little bit more realization here. The "you are visitors" and different tonations of it are confusing enough, but looking through the bridge and once again declaring that you are visitors in the body language that seems very forceful, aggressive, this is less of "you're not welcome here." This is more of "you're visitors, you're here, you're staying here."
We're captive. And Jaloran has a focus in linguistics.
As do I.
Yeah. Can we kind of tag team and like do a roll and see if we can pull any more insight beyond what you just revealed?
Yes.
I do have collaboration science that might apply.
That will apply, actually.
And Jaloran's also got advisor.
As well as my value of I avoid confrontation. I want people to like us. There has to be a way to find a middle ground.
And at this point, Jaloran's getting the sense that it's like now that we're here, we're very much captive, and they aren't going to let us leave willingly. We have to figure out our own way out and back home.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's like trying to get more insight on that.
Okay. With that, I do think the most applicable role is probably going to be I'm going to let you choose on this one. I'm going to let you choose whether that is going to be insight command or a reason security, because there are two ways to go about this. And it will be a difficulty of 2.
Jaloran's built more for insight command.
Okay.
And just as a note, I believe we currently have 2 momentum in the pool.
Correct.
3.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's
3 because I got 6.
Yeah, that's right. It's 3.
I know, but then I used one
Right.
for my collaboration.
Right.
Oh yeah, you
That's
did.
right, yeah.
So I think we're at 2.
Yep,
Yeah, we're at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on.
My calculation said 3, but I could be
Yeah,
mistaken.
because you got us 3.
And then
Clay rolled 6.
We earned
That would
one.
have gotten us burned, but basically got it back. Yeah, we're at 2.
We're at 2 because, like, the roll
Yeah.
that Mira made, she got the exact number that she needed, so we didn't get any momentum from that one.
Yeah.
So we should be down to 2.
Okay.
So there's 2 of us rolling.
Yep.
Okay.
I think.
Do we independently choose, or because my reason security is 1 higher?
Up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with your stronger one. So
Okay. Now
we're both
how-
pulling on.
should
We're both
I-
pulling.
Sorry.
We're both pulling on the linguistics focus.
Okay. And would collaboration science be helpful here, or
It will be helpful here because there is a scientific element that if you roll right, you will discover something.
Collaboration science is only useful if somebody else is using science, which I don't think Jaloran is.
You are correct.
Gotcha. So maybe more. Would a value help?
What value would you like to pull on?
I avoid confrontation.
Yeah, that might help.
Okay.
Initially,
That gives you
it
an
might help
auto two.
initially. It probably won't help like long term, but initially it might.
That gives you an auto 2 successes. So you just did it.
Yep.
And then I still have 2 dice,
You
so
can still
auto
roll
2.
it to see if you get the momentum.
Yeah.
Jalarin got 2 successes.
Nothing here.
Okay, perfect. So you both succeeded. All right then. Pulling on your linguistics and such. Obviously, yeah, they're not gonna let you leave. And I'm gonna see if it did decent on its rolls here or something. Okay. Jordan, you're the one that kind of notices this before Kavai does, but the kind of fabric that it's wearing, it kind of seems to almost have this shimmering effect to it. And then you take a double take at this fabric. It's not shimmering. It's wearing a form of tech. This tech, you're assuming it might be recording.
Potentially even broadcasting.
Potentially, it's no way to be sure, but recording for sure, broadcasting maybe, hard to tell.
Do you mention this?
Oh, absolutely.
Now that's interesting. I sort of stare at them now, matching their interest from earlier. But I'm just looking at their clothing, trying to figure out how they did that.
Okay, it is still trapped in this force field, so if you're trying to communicate further, you still have the ability to do so.
She's gonna move. Jaloran is gonna move over to Lieutenant Caraballo. She's gonna see if he can figure out a way to disrupt that tech.
Okay. Now knowing that it's there, that what is happening basically. I mean, it seems like the best option in this instance is to use what we've already got available to us. So, is there some way that I could try to, like, in some way alter the containment field to disrupt that?
If the containment field were a little made less comfortable, notably meaning if you were to shrink the containment field to where it is literally impossible for this thing to really move and make sure and guarantees contact with whatever this fabric or clothing or tech might be, the force field itself might just short circuit and fry it.
Okay, but will that also prevent? And would that prevent communication? Because I know you were talking about like body language and stuff like that. So I feel like
It
that
would
would make it more
the communication damn near impossible.
right. Okay.
So you're kind of in that weird little catch-22 situation where you can't really keep letting this recorder / potentially transmitter keep going. However, if you do that, there is the potential that any progress of communication, even how hostile it has been, just deteriorates at an accelerated rate.
Right.
Would it be a permanent short or like something that?
That was my next question.
Or would contact with it only be a temporary short?
We don't know their technology.
No way to
Commander,
tell.
permission to enter the force field.
Wait, there were two people talking at the same time. I know what Kavai said, but Joe.
No, I did. I actually wasn't saying anything. I just picked up a noise because my ankle cracked because it wanted to.
Ouch.
Permission denied, Kavai.
I believe I can communicate with it more effectively.
And we need to disrupt its communications first.
I do not believe there's any harm with it being in communication with its people.
Kavai,
Trapped.
Kavai, the commander said permission denied.
Fine.
Commander, to your point, I'm not short of rapidly deteriorating any sort of communication with this being. I'm not sure that there's much I can do to disrupt the recording. But if that's not something that you're worried about, then I can give it a shot.
I get the feeling that we've gotten as much information as we can get for now. Let's see how it responds to having its technology disrupted.
All right, let's see what we can do.
Poorly.
Okay, what do I need to do?
Just a simple touch on the just on the control pad, and it shrinks and it gets to that kind of tight space before you could hear the force field hitting against it.
At this point, as far as Jaloran is concerned, the only way to figure out if disrupting it is permanent or temporary is to actually do it.
The moment
And
that
see what
happens,
happens.
there is almost a, it sounds like, coming from this creature, rapid, short, low, guttural breathing. At first, Kavai, you're probably the most connected to this. Just upon initial look, looks like pain. Emotionally, the bit that you were able to kind of detect here, absolute bemusement. As Dinpren kind of speaks up. Commander, whatever you did, you got results.
I think Kavai's face goes from confused to sort of especially grossed out, almost like she's touched something nasty. Being amused when someone's in pain, she's just don't like that.
Did you say bemused or amused?
Bemused. But either way, you got a result as any of the vessels that were in fact around the Starbase have now started heading this direction.
Well, Commander.
That gets an eyebrow quirk from Jaloran, but she just calmly orders Lieutenant Carballo to ease up on the containment field to see.
Yeah. I was already ready. I didn't like the idea of doing this at all. So the words aren't even fully out of your mouth before I ease up.
Okay. The vessels are still approaching.
I immediately apologized to it for hurting it.
There is something new that is alarming as it
No.
looks towards Kavai and Commander Jalorn, specifically to Commander Jalorn. In perfect mimicry. In your voice, Jalorn, as whatever tech they have is somewhat superior to yours, as beginning to transport outwards with whatever tech they have. It's more like a portal coming down from overhead. But then, in that perfect mimicry of your voice, it's a short sentence. Not you, as it has been signed in body language, but in voice. We will be visitors. Before the teleport or whatever removes it to somewhere else.
That could have gone better.
However, the second half of this we will do next week.
Oh, I do so like the cliffhangers.
I don't! I want more now!
I'm sorry if you couldn't read it. My entire last voice was sarcasm, and I am furious as hell.
Well,
Oh, this is so much fun.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is a kind of a two-parter where you are doing some delicate maneuvering because
Oh, they're so creepy.
As opposed to our last two-parter, where it was not delicate or maneuvering whatsoever. We brute forced our way through.
Am I gonna have to outfly like seven ships in a broken ship? That's
you're
gonna
not
be fun.
gonna have to outfly 7 ships. That would be ridiculous. There's 12 of them.
Oh, that's even better.
But regardless, we're so glad you could join us tonight with to deal with my bullshit and everyone else's. Even if it was for a slight bit of time, or for an hour, or just 10 minutes, we hope that even for a little bit that we have been a nightly and healthy dose of R&R. We'll see you later.